4. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of JV Zoo Webinars, Webinar Swaps, Rich Wilens Webinars, and welcome to my home. My name is Rich Wilens. Thank you very much for coming by this evening. It's a gorgeous evening where I'm at, where we broadcast live each time from the great state of Mississippi, just below the, it actually would be above the Gulf of Mexico in Ocean Springs outside of Biloxi. Thank you very much for coming into my home and joining me tonight. We always put on the creme de la creme, the best of the best. We bring you, I'd like to think that I bring you, because you all are appreciated, I'd like to think that I bring you the information and the webinars, the free training that you need for all of you to not only improve your internet marketing career, but no matter what niche you're in, that it will help improve and make you not only a little bit better than you were yesterday, but not as good as you're going to be tomorrow. Tonight is no exception. For those of you who will follow JV Zoo Webinars, Webinar Swaps, and Rich Wilens Webinars, we've had this gentleman on before. He's a well-known public speaker who travels all across the country. The last time I saw Daniel was at NAMS, which was in Atlanta, the David Perdue's group for all us old people. And I say all us old people, I say that respectfully. Daniel's catching up, but not quite. His experience includes not only internet marketer, but he is also a registered nurse. He has a degree, a JD degree. He's also an attorney. And he's also a good guy who not only cares about his clients, but also puts together quality free training that's going to help us all. So please, if you have pen and paper ready, should the webinar gods, the replay gods not be good tonight, at least take the information that you can, what you can glean off this free training. It's going to be worth it. Plus, at the end of this webinar, I'm going to be giving away a couple of bonuses as well, just for you sticking around. So please welcome my friend and tonight's guest, Daniel Hall. Daniel, welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Rich. I really appreciate it. It's always an honor and a privilege to get to chat with you and your folks, and I'm really excited about this particular presentation just because this is the presentation where we're actually going to teach you what we've promised here on this title slide, which is how to drive essentially 122,547, which is a lot of people, okay, targeted, and that's real important, targeted visitors to your website, to your Kindle books, to your squeeze pages, to your affiliate offers, to anywhere you want to send them for free, okay, completely for free, using nothing but Pinterest tonight. Okay, so that's what's on tap, and Rich was completely right when he said make sure that you grab some paper and a way to take some notes, because we are going to really be giving you a lot of immediately usable content, whether or not you take us up on our offer, and we'll talk about that in due course. But you definitely want to stick around, even if you don't intend on taking us up on that. So let's actually get in here and talk about the fact that we do have a sponsor, and we will have an offer, and we're not going to hear much more about that until the very end of the presentation. But when we get there, we'll be talking about real fast Pinterest, and it's just to kind of give you a little glimpse. It's where we show people just like you how to harness the viral marketing power of Pinterest to drive more traffic to your websites and other offers for free. And if you want to check out that offer now, you can. It's at realfastpinterest.com/rich. Okay? Now, I always like to lay a foundation, start every presentation that we do with a expectation. My expectation of you and your expectation of me and my partner, John Kramer, who I'm going to be bringing on here in just a second. We lay that down in the form of a promise. So this is essentially what we promise to do here. In this webinar, we're going to show you step-by-step the elements of simple, that's really important, by the way, simple infographics that are easy and fast to make and that can drive massive traffic to your websites or offers for free. In fact, what we're going to teach you here today is so easy to implement that you could start it within 15 minutes of the webinar being over and actually start seeing more traffic to your offers in the next 24 hours. So first question for you, okay, is that something that you would like to do? If so, go to your questions box right now and type in heck yes, cheerio, or right on, something along those lines, so that I know that you and I are sort of pulling the cart in the same direction, and our expectations are parallel. We basically, we're meeting eye to eye on what's about to happen here. And I see all the responses coming in here. Excellent, very good, thank you for that. Now, what I'm about to say here, just to sort of tee this up correctly, is going to seem counterintuitive to you. And I want you to know that I actually mean what I'm about to say here. Because at the end of the webinar, as I said earlier, we're going to be extending this special offer to you. However, I don't want you to invest in it. Okay, let me say it again. I don't want you to invest in it unless we make good on our promise to show you how to harness Pinterest for more traffic to your websites and offers tonight. Okay? However, if we do show you how to use Pinterest to get more traffic to your websites and offers tonight, then you should feel obligated to take advantage of our time-limited special opportunity at the end of the call if, and only if, it's right for you. Does that sound fair? Go to your questions box right now and answer. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Excellent. All right, so we have an accord. We have a meeting of the minds here. Excellent. So what gives us the right? What gives us the authority? I think every presentation should start with that, and I wanted to briefly do an intro here of my good friend and business partner, John Kramer. He is this guy over here, and John is a author, he is a consultant, and he's a really smart marketer. In fact, he is the author of 1001 Ways to Market Your Books, and if you've ever tried to market your book, you would have that on your, it's sort of the Bible of the book marketing industry, and which is really good because he is known as the grandfather of book marketing, but the more you kind of get to know him, I think it's a better moniker for him to think of him as the grandpappy of book marketing, and you'll kind of see what I mean as we go through the evening. Now, it's one thing for me to say John Kramer is great, and I am saying that. He's really good. But it's a whole other thing to see what some other folks, some really paragons, have said about John and his techniques and his methods. For example, Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield, co-authors of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, said, if you want to sell 210 million books like we have, read and use John's book. I love this from Stephen Covey, who said, John Kramer was instrumental in our success in making the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People one of the 2 most influential business books of the 20th century. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, that's all well and good for John Kramer, but what the heck does any of this have to do with me? Well, let me tell you why I sort of tee this up this way. I just want to let you know the quality, the caliber of information and marketing acumen that's headed down the tracks at you right now. Okay, so again, be ready for it. But that's, again, I'm trying to prepare you for how good this is going to be. Now, for me, my name is Daniel Hall. I am a best-selling author, speaker, publisher, nurse, attorney, and sometimes blogger, and I am the creator of the highly popular Real Fast brand of training products. Now, with that, I am actually going to pass the reins over to my good friend here, John Kramer. And John, are you there, sir?
I am here.
There you go. I've just
and
passed
I'm
you
ready.
the reins there.
Can you see my screen? It says help.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Lovely.
This is a typical message I get from people. This was actually posted on my Facebook timeline, and Robert Dorsey had asked, I can't figure out this Pinterest. I don't know what to do with it. I know that you post pictures, but I just haven't been able to figure it out. And he said, does anybody have a training? And I wrote back to him and said, I do. But it's a typical thing that I get from a lot of authors, which is my main market, and they say, I just don't figure it out. I'd rather use Facebook or Twitter. And I keep coming back to them and say, but Pinterest will give you a lot more traffic than Facebook or Twitter do. Because in my experience, it gives 10 times the traffic of Facebook and 200 times the traffic of Twitter for me. And I use all of these social networks, so it's not like I'm not using them, but Pinterest has really done incredibly well for me. And what I want to do tonight is share with you some of the things that I've discovered that really help get people to come to your website and to buy what you have to offer. So what is Pinterest and why should we care? And the first thing to know is that Pinterest is the fastest growing and most viral social sharing network out there. And the key thing there is that it's viral. It's designed to go viral. It's almost like a multi-level marketing network in the way that it works, because you show something to people and they see it, and if they like it, they repin it, and that reveals it to all of their followers, et cetera, et cetera. And so it really starts to spread content. The other thing that's really nice is that Pinterest sends you targeted traffic, because there's an interesting thing about Pinterest, and that is that it is designed to focus on specific topics. People create boards of interest, what they're interested in. And that's what creates the really targeted traffic, because when somebody repins something from you, they repin it to a specific board. And everybody that follows that board has raised their hand essentially and said, I'm interested in, toy dogs, or I'm interested in crocheting, or I'm interested in Halloween, or I'm interested in, business and how to make it more effective, or I'm interested in social media, whatever it might be. And each of the boards is very, very targeted to a specific audience. And so when people follow that board, they're saying, I'm interested in that subject. So when I repin something to one of my special interest boards, it's going to the people that are avidly interested in that subject. And that's why it sends you targeted traffic. And that's really a key thing about Pinterest, is the ability to send that kind of targeted traffic and not just generalized traffic. Now this is an old this was an old infographic here on the right of something about Pinterest, and this is about 1.5 years old now. But Pinterest hit 10 million U.S. unique visitors per month, faster than any other site in history, and it has somewhere around 80 million people now every month actively using the site. We're not talking about passive or disappearing Twitter profiles or things like that. These are people that are actively using the site. And the really neat thing is that 80% of pins are repins of other users' pins. That means that people are programmed to share your pins, because that's what they want to do. They're repinning things that they like to what you would consider to their boards, and their boards are essentially their wish list or their shopping list or their bucket list. The things they want to do, the things they want to buy, the things they want to see, that kind of thing is what they are pinning and repinning. 80% of Pinterest users at that time were women. It's probably closer to 70% now. More men have been joining, but the active users of Pinterest are still women, and that's an important thing to understand when you're using Pinterest. Is that it is very much a strong female audience. And so when you're sharing things, think in terms of what would women be interested in, regardless of what your topic is, whether it's motorcycles, fishing, or whatever. You can either aim for the 30% that are men, or you can aim for the 70% that are women and who are the most active users. The neat thing is that Pinterest pins with prices get 36% more likes than pins without a price. And that it really says that people are using Pinterest as a shopping tool. They actually don't mind having prices on their pins, because they're actually sending it up as a wish list of things they want to buy. So Pinterest is retaining users 2 to 3 times more effectively than Twitter ever did, and that means that users love this site. It's really an active relationship. The people that love Pinterest use it regularly, and pin to it and repin regularly. And here I wanted to give you the real power of Pinterest in terms of the lasting power. Not only is Pinterest viral and targeted, but it also has an incredible value in terms of the pin lasting a long, long time. You know, like the typical tweet on Twitter, it lasts about 20 seconds and then it's gone. And, you know, some people still may discover it 2 days later, or, you know, occasionally I get somebody that discovers it a week or two later, but rarely beyond that unless they're searching, using a search tool to find tweets that are of special interest. But generally speaking, your tweet has 20 seconds to capture interest, and then it's literally gone. It's off the screen. Facebook posts, in my experience, last anywhere from a few hours to a couple of days, and it only lasts for a couple of days if people are actually you know, commenting on it or sharing it or interacting in some way. Then a Facebook post will last a little bit longer, but rarely, again, beyond a couple of days. But Pinterest pins, in my experience, last essentially forever. I mean, in my experience, and I've been on for over two years now, and my pins, I've done pins 2 years ago that are still actively being repinned and driving traffic. I mean, some of those pins that are 2 years old are sending 50 to 100 people to my website every day. And it was pinned 2 years ago. And it's still driving traffic today, day after day. I mean, it's, you know, to me, that's the real power of Pinterest. Not only, you know, I really love the targeted nature of it, but the lasting power of Pinterest pin is really what makes it so time valuable, because you can pin something and it lasts literally forever. Now here's some of the, you know, the most popular categories on Pinterest are those of interest to women, because they still dominate the membership and the activity on Pinterest. Women are much more active than men on Pinterest. Men join, but they're not as active as women are. So if you have anything with fashion, design, home decor, recipes, crafts, hobbies, travel, romance, anything like that, women are going to love it. In fact, that little pink graphic up there on the left, it says, you want the keys to a woman's soul? Follow her on Pinterest. And it's really true, because if you look at what, you know, anybody on Pinterest, what you see are the boards that they've created. And literally, those are the things that they're interested in. And you can really tell a lot about a person by looking at their profile. And I wanted to share with you what I call the 6 F's of Pinterest. These are, in my experience, the 6 most popular categories. Fitness, and that includes anything dealing with health and diet. Food, people love to share recipes, pretty pictures of food, and so on. Fashion, they love fashion, and again, that's primarily female-oriented. Anything to do with family, and then again, this is relationships, parenting, kids, anything like that. They love, as all social networks do, anything that's funny. And then also phytofeline, animals, cute animals of any kind. They don't have to be just cats and dogs, but anything that's cute, they love it. And those are the key categories of interest that they're really passionate about, in my experience. Those are the things that when I pin, they get repinned a lot. So let's look at a little bit about how to go from a pin to a win. And by a win, I mean, you know, you actually make money. The first thing you have to do, Pinterest is a collection of graphics. So you have to realize that when you're doing Pinterest, and I'm just going to show you, this is what Pinterest looks like if you haven't seen it before. And these are some of the people that I follow and the things that they're sharing. I like quotes, so a lot of the people that I share, I follow their quotes, so you'll see a lot of quotes. I don't follow fashion that much because I'm not interested in it. If you ever look at my dress style, you'll know what I mean. But you have to create a graphic, either a quote graphic, you know, even these things are graphics. This examine what you tolerate is a graphic. It's not just the words. It's created as an image, and that's important. So you have to create a graphic. Then you blog about it. You put that graphic on one of your blog pages and you write about it. You know, you can. It doesn't have to be long. A lot of my blog posts are very short, just a graphic and a few words about it. And then I pin that graphic with a link, and that's a very simple thing to do with Pinterest. You can, and if you go to any of my websites, you'll see I have pin it buttons all over the place, so you can share the graphics that I have. And when you pin, the pin automatically, Pinterest adds the link to the page that that image came from. So you don't even have to do it. And when somebody repins from your website, that link to your website goes with it. Now you can always go back and edit that link if you want to and send them to, an email capture page or a sales page or something like that, or an Amazon sales page or ClickBank sales page or anything like that. But by pinning it with that link, when somebody looks at any image on Pinterest, for example, if I look at this one, examine what you tolerate, one of the first things you see is that if I click on it, it takes me to a website. And the link is automatic. That's what Pinterest does with it. It's a very simple thing, but that's what drives the traffic. If people click on the images that you create in Pinterest, that drives traffic. And 95% of the people that repin something retain your link. So your link goes with every repin. So it's not just the people that are exposed to your particular profile or board, but also every time it's repinned, that link goes with it. And that's what drives traffic, that drives eyeballs to your website, and hopefully you figure out a way to convert it, either by Amazon book sales, ClickBank sales, email capture page, so that you can add them to your email list, because we know that the list is where the gold is in internet marketing. So however you want to convert the traffic, it can be done. Even driving people to a particular sales page for any program you have to offer, any product you have to offer, any service you have to offer. And then I wanted to tell you that I have found that the two most effective kinds of pins, the ones that get repinned the most for me, are quote graphics. And that is inspirational, funny, and motivational quotes related to your product or service. So again, if you look at some of the things that people, that are, pinning things right now, a lot of these are things that are attached to things. Here's one from Hub Pages, things like that. People have quotes. And actually the most effective ones tend to be the ones that are prettier, like this: when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. A really neat thing, it's actually linked to skinnymom.com. But those kind of pretty things really do very well with Pinterest. The other kind of thing, and I'm going to talk a lot about this, is typographics and what they are and what they look like, because my most effective pins have been typographics. And typographics are tall, thin graphics that include 5 to 30 tips that talk about, how to use your product, why you would want to use your service, the value of your book, anything like that. If you're a speaker, the things that, 20 tips that you would offer in any talk you give, something like that. But the typographic is, in my experience, the most powerful thing, but quote graphics come in second. And the neat thing about quote graphics is that they're really quick and easy to create. A typographic takes probably twice as long to create, but much shorter than creating the typical video or creating, a lot of other kinds of things. Even a blog post takes longer. So this is the shape of a viral Pinterest, and your Pinterest graphic can be as wide as 720, I think it's 25 or 35 pixels wide, and it can be as long as you want it to be, but they do cut it off after a while. Pinterest used to not do, so you'd see these graphics that were like, long, like 5,000 pixels long, but now Pinterest cuts them off to about, I think, around 900 pixels, and then after that, you have to click on the graphic to see the rest of it. But think of it as like the shape of a bookmark, tall and thin. 300 pixels by 800 is fine. You want to be at least 260 pixels wide, or your graphic is thinner than it will show up on the timeline. And you want to maximize your exposure on the timeline. So think about 300 by 800 up to 725 by 3,000 if you want. So it can be very long if you want it to be. Now what I want to do is go through the process of how I discovered the incredible power of a typographic. A typographic is different from an infographic in that it's very, very simple. And that's a key thing here, because the simpler it is, the more likely it is that people will actually click through to find out more. The complicated typographics, like that one that I showed you back here, this one here, with lots of images and numbers and lots of different placement of graphics and things like that. This thing right here, I mean, that's just too complicated. People may repin it, but they don't click through because they don't take the time to absorb it. Whereas if you create a typographic, they can actually read it in the timeline of Pinterest, and that's what gives it the power. That's what gets people to actually click through to your website to find out more. Now here is a typographic, literally, that was created by somebody. It's a Skinny Rules. It featured the book by Bob Harper. He's on the NBC's The Biggest Loser, and he wrote a book called The Skinny Rules, which were the 20 simple rules for getting thin. And these are them, but it's kind of ugly, and it's really not optimized for Pinterest because you can't read it when it's on the timeline because it's actually, half the thickness of this. And so you really can't read it that well. But, I decided to make it a little bit prettier by putting a pink border around it. This is before I really understood how to use Pinterest and didn't really get it. But this pink border image started getting 1,000 people coming to my website every day. It got something like 30,000 repins in 1 month. And it was just going viral, and I was going, wow, I bet I can do better. And so what I did is I created a taller and thinner graphic with the colors of the actual book cover, which is the blue and yellow book cover. And this particular image, the Bob Harper, The Skinny Rules image, has had over 1.4 million repins. And a very simple thing to read and use. This is what it looks like. It's actually 600 pixels wide, and I don't know, about 2,500 pixels long, maybe 3,000. But that's what it looks like. And again, it features the book cover of Bob Harper. Now, this stats right here were taken about 4 months ago when it had 1.4 million total repins and generated 123,512 visits to my website. And in fact, as of today, it's trying to read it here. 130,485 people have come to my website from that graphic, and 95% of that traffic has come from Pinterest. So I mean, it's incredibly powerful in terms of the power to drive it. And I'm going to show you more examples of typographics so you get an idea of how they work. Now the thing is, I see already that somebody has a question about the copyright of the book cover. When you are writing or reviewing a book, writing about a book or reviewing it, showcasing it in some way, it's within copyright law to use the book cover in writing about, reviewing, and so on. That's considered fair use. So using it in a typographic like this is perfectly legitimate within copyright law because I'm writing about the book, I'm showcasing it, and and so I feature the book cover. Now the neat thing is that in this particular case, because I'm writing about somebody else's book, I link to my website first, and then from there I link to the Amazon sales page. And I sell about 200 to 300 books on Amazon every month just from my Pinterest activity. So the characteristics of a typographic are that they're tall and thin, condensed content from your book, or great tips on how to use your product, or great tips from a talk that you give, or great tips on how to use a particular service or something like that. You use the colors found on the cover of the book or the product or the service, and you feature a picture of the cover of the product, and then you link to wherever you want to link. because when you upload something, you can always change the link. You can edit any pin that you ever put up and change the link at any time you want. So if the particular link you have now isn't producing results, you link somewhere else. You link to another sales page. You link to a landing page. You link to an email capture page. You link to your Facebook page, wherever you want to drive that traffic, because literally you can link it to anywhere. And again, using your affiliate link if you're doing ClickBank or JVZoo or Amazon affiliate programs. Now here are some other typographics. The one on the left, 101 ways to say great. That one somebody else created. It's not quite optimized for Pinterest, but it still has had 107,000 repins and generated, as of today, I think around 1,700 visits to my website. This one, 18 Things Mentally Strong People Do, that one is compiled from a couple articles that I found on Forbes.com, and that has just gone viral. I mean, it's had, I don't know how, 92,000 repins, but it's probably over 110,000, 120,000 repins by now. As of today, it's generated 29,432 visits to my website. That's a 25% click-through rate from Pinterest to my website. I mean, you don't get that on YouTube. You don't get that on Facebook. A 25% click-through rate. That's incredible. And you see that also. Like, here's the one: 15 things to give up if you want to be happy. That's 15 points on what things to give up, and illustrated with quotes. Again, I adapted that from somebody else's blog post, but I added quotes to it. That's at 281,000 repins and generated over 30,000 visits to my website. As of today, 35,719 visits to my website. That's that's about 11 or 12% click-through rate. Again, that's, if you know anything about click-through rates with anything else, that's just amazing. The 16 unusual uses for cucumbers is something that I just compiled from different information on the internet, added a copyright-free picture of a cucumber. That's had over 96,000 repins and generated over 6,218 visits to my website. Again, that's like a 6 to 7% click-through rate. Those are high click-through rates. And that's just from people, the repins that are there and people coming to visit the website. To me, it's just like, it's like a gold strike, It just comes and it keeps coming. Here's a slightly more complicated one that I created, 30 flat tummy tips. And I included some pictures of ladies with flat tummies. That's had 95,000 repins, and as of today, I don't remember exactly how many, but it's close to 8,000, visits to my website. I mean, these things, again, an 8% click-through rate. To me, that's just amazing. Now, here are some quote graphics, and you can see how a quote graphic can include an image, and you just put the words over the image. That's something that's easy to do using Microsoft Word or almost any other graphics program that you're comfortable with. I started using Microsoft Word simply because I'm a writer and that's what I knew. And I still don't really, I can use, some other graphics programs a little bit, but I'm really not that well, even with Photoshop, I can use it a little bit, but I don't really know how to use it in the way that it does. So here's Coincidence is God's Way of Remaining Anonymous with a picture of Albert Einstein. That's at 30,000 repins. Here's one: take time to do what makes your soul happy, with an image, and that's just a repin that I did that's had 212,000 repins of its own. And I simply repinned that from somebody else. I didn't create it. I simply repinned it. And my repin had 212,000 repins. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody pities you for procrastinating. Nobody's going to coddle you. It's your ass, you move it. That's had over 2,500 repins. And again, that's just words with a little color and particular typeface that you pick. That's very simple. And I'll show you how to do one of these graphics a little later using Microsoft Word, which is very simple and easy thing to do. Here is the stats from my website, and just to show you, here's the updated stats from my website, active and live. And you can see most of this traffic comes from Pinterest. 75 to 80, 90%, depending on the day, of my traffic to this particular website comes from Pinterest. And so you can see there's a lot of traffic, a lot of different things that are sending traffic to my website. And so I just wanted to show you the real time. And the thing that happened is that, and this website that, where I'm getting these stats from is one of my websites. It's called infographicAday.com. And back in the when I started it, I was just basically pinning those complicated infographics that I don't recommend you do because they're a waste of time in terms of Pinterest. Keep it simple. Keep it just words and one image, and knock it out in 5 or 10 minutes and pin it, and then just watch the residual traffic come day after day, month after month to your website. Because of the Bob Harper, the skinny rules became so popular, I started pinning a lot of things about staying happy, other diet things, and so on, because that's what people like. That's why people were coming to my website. So my infographic a day website is now basically a diet and health website because that's what people want. But I've also created another website, celebrityweightLossTips.com, to maximize the traffic and to start selling more weight loss products to my fitness audience, because that's what I have now, a big fitness audience on Pinterest. But not just that, people also interested in a lot of other topics. I'm showing you this. This is, again, a quote graphic that I created in about 5 minutes in Microsoft Word. I found a quote on Pinterest. It said, "When you forgive, you don't change the past, you change the future." And I liked that quote, and then I realized, there's more to it. But when you pray, you change the past and the present and the future. Pray more. And I believe that. I believe when you pray, you can do that. And I think that's the power of prayer. And so I took this one. I used a famous painting from 1600, praying hands, as a background, and then did that. But within 10 hours, and the reason I'm showing this to you is that within 10 hours of sharing it, 15 people repinned it from the people that follow me, but 250 other people repinned that image in 10 hours. And these were people that didn't follow me. They were people that followed the people that follow me, and followed the people that followed the people that followed me, and so on and so forth. And that's really why I could sort of talk about it in terms of like network marketing, because it's almost like you build a downline, and people that follow you pin it, and then there are people that follow them pin it, and the people that follow them pin it, and so on. And that's where the viral nature and power of Pinterest really starts to take hold. Here's an example from Brian Tracy. He's a famous speaker and sales trainer. And about anywhere from 5 to 20 times a week, he will share a quote graphic of some sort. This one is not actually a quote, it's a question. What is it that you would like to do or be or have more than anything in the world? And within 2 hours, he had 14 people repin it, and 161 total people repin that image. And that's just in 2 hours. That's how powerful it can be. The neat thing is that he shares about 5 to 20 of these quote graphics every week, and every one of them is linked to his email capture page, where he offers a free report and gets people to sign up for his email newsletter. The other thing that Brian does is about once a week he will share a video. And with Pinterest, you can pin not only graphics but also videos. So it's a really powerful way to promote your YouTube videos and your sales videos and things like that. What he does is once a week he shares one of his sales training videos. And at the end, again, it's linked to his sales training page where you can hire him as a sales trainer. But then again, once a week he shares a video from one of his talks, one of his speeches. And again, that's linked to his page, his speaking page, where you can hire him as a speaker. He gets paid anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 a talk, just to get up there and do a keynote. And the thing is that he's promoting it every week through a video on Pinterest. So there are lots of ways you can monetize it. He's monetizing his Twitter profile in 3 ways. 1, email captures through quote graphics, inspirational quote graphics. 2, through the videos of sales training, and 3, through the videos of his speeches. So there's lots of ways that you can start to do it and to create an audience that people eagerly wait for you to tell them, share something more with them. Here is another graphic from my infographic a day, and you can see that I get about 4,000 people, and it's not every month, it's actually every week, that come to my website, and again, most of that traffic comes from Pinterest. But the neat thing is that I've discovered is, and this 4,000 a week is, as you can see, is very consistent, and that's without very much pinning activity. I actually haven't pinned from infographic a day in probably about 3 months, and the traffic is still coming every day, every week, about the same. It's amazing. The traffic just keeps coming, even if you're not doing anything. In fact, that's one of the things that really appealed to Daniel, and it's the reason I convinced him to partner with me in telling you about this and creating a course to teach you in depth how to do it. But the neat thing here, again, is when you start to get the pins and the people start liking them, what happens in the search engines is that they actually feature your pinned image often in the top 10 search results. In fact, I have found, even though whenever I do a blog post and I pin it to my image from the blog post to Pinterest, I also share it on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and LinkedIn. But the thing is that almost all the traffic still comes from Pinterest. And the neat thing is that because of that, because I'm getting so much traffic from Pinterest, the search engines are starting to favor my website for some keywords, and because of the Pinterest activity. And if any of my images make it into the top 1 or 2 pages of Google for a key search term, it's invariably my Pinterest pin that gets it, not my Facebook page, not my Twitter post, not my LinkedIn post, not my Google Plus post. A lot of people say you got to be on Google Plus because Google favors Google Plus. Well, that's not the case in my experience. Google favors where the traffic is. And in my case, the traffic is in Pinterest, so Google favors my pins over my Google Plus posts, very much so. And, that's part of the power, is that search engines start to discover your website through your pinning activity. Here are some more typographics. I wanted to show you a variety of them. This is one that I created for Scott Scrollsberg, 5 Steps to Achieving Your Dreams. I charge people $200 to create one of these for them. I'm happy to do it because it takes me about 10 minutes, and that's a good hourly wage. Valerie Bertinelli's 10 Food Rules, I created that one, excerpting it from an article in Pinterest, in Prevention Magazine. I rewrote it, and again, I linked to her cookbook, One Dish at a Time. Maya Angelou, What I've Learned, that was something that the actual words were something I found on one of my Facebook, when I was following somebody on Facebook, and I decided to create a graphic out of it. And this particular graphic, again, it links to her collection of poems. But when she died back in June, this was one of the most shared images on the internet honoring her, because people really liked it. It's a pretty image, and it shares a very powerful message from Maya. The Dash Diet Weight Loss Solutions, that's one that I created for Marla Heller. She's the author of the Dash Diet Weight Loss Solution. And her book actually went to #1 in all of Amazon a couple of weeks after I created this, not because of this, so it's because she was on Dr. Oz. But the really neat thing is that she features this on her sales page for her book. And so I got an incredible amount of click-throughs from her page to my website because she was on Dr. Oz. And then this last one is a list of 25 tips, best health tips via menshealth.com from Dr. Mehmet Oz. Again, I rewrote them, so again, within copyright rules, and featured his book, You on a Diet. So again, people could click through. Now I wanted to show you one thing. This is something new that Daniel hasn't seen yet. When you join Pinterest as a business, and I recommend that that's what you do, or turn your personal account into a business account, that's what I've done, you get all these different stats. And this is the stats that I just got last night. And what you can see is that my average number of viewers of my pins is 787,801 people. Now, 12,000 people engage in it. That means that they pin, like, or comment on one of my pins. So at least 12,000 times a month, people are sharing, commenting, and posting, repinning my stuff. But I have over 787,801 people last month that actually saw one of my pins. And you can have the same kind of thing. You can see some of the impressions here for some of the specific ones. That top 5 medical discoveries in history is simply a repin that I did. And it's had 190,000 impressions in the last 30 days. And 307 people click through to it. There's 4 quick workouts to help you fight fat thighs. That's the 4th one down here. That, again, is a repin. That's had 42,000 repins and 869 click-throughs. And a lot of those click-throughs, they could go to the website. It was a repin from cosmopolitan.com. But I also linked to the book that's behind the 4 quick workouts, and that link is to the book is to Amazon with my affiliate link. So those clicks could have either gone to cosmopolitan.com or they could have gone to amazon.com. I haven't checked completely which it was, but that's the kind of activity that you can see when you're on there and you're pinning interesting things. So, Pinterest is just really, really powerful, and the engagement is really good. Now, about this time, we get the question a lot that, what about copyright? So I'm going to bring on nurse and lawyer Daniel Hall to talk a little bit about it, but I wanted to again reiterate that whenever you're writing about a movie or a TV show or a book, it's perfectly within fair use of copyright law to use an image representing that TV show, the movie poster, the book cover, to when you're writing about that movie, that book, or that TV show. So Daniel, you want to talk a little bit more about it? Because I think there's some really interesting things you found about the Pinterest terms of use and the power of it.
Absolutely, yeah. I just wanted to make sure. Well, let's actually start with a little bit of a primer here with regard to copyright and fair use as well, because this is, if you do it wrong, there's some landmines here. You can get into trouble. And we'll start off with a general rule that Pinterest actually requires you to have proper rights to whatever it is that you are uploading in as a graphical image to the site. So let's talk about that for a second. What constitutes proper rights? Well, that's something like an image that you have taken, say with your iPhone or your camera, and you're uploading that image. Well, obviously you are the author of that image, and that works fine, okay? Or it's an image that maybe you've created. Maybe you've gone to Canva, or you've gone to you know how to use Photoshop or something like that. You've created an image. Well, that is good to go too, right? You have those you retain those rights, and you can upload that as well. Now, you can also use like public domain photos and images, and there's a lot of great, I mean, really hundreds of thousands of images like that. And then on top of that, you could also buy via stock photo sites the rights and to use an image, or use, you know, a image within an image, and that's all cool. But it actually goes a little bit further, a little deeper than that, because I want to kind of refresh your memory from Amazon, or think about any big blog, or Amazon, for example, and in other places. You'll see that they have along the, you know, the share it line, where you'll see, you know, like it or tweet about it. You'll usually see a little P, okay? And if you go to any Amazon listing, you'll see what I'm talking about. Right above the buy box, there's a little P. If you press on that, that'll actually allow you to pin from that site to Pinterest. And if you see that little pin button on any site, that is essentially giving you the go-ahead, the right to do that, to pin. So that's another form of rights, okay? And that's cool. Pinterest is all good with that. In fact, the really interesting thing about Pinterest is the environment actually encourages and nurtures the viral spread, the viral use of images. I mean, basically, without that sort of characteristic, Pinterest is dead. It doesn't go anywhere. But because Pinterest is like this, and this is the sort of the rules of the game, you get to use a lot of these images. Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting, and I'm going to refer you to Pinterest's own terms of service. That's what POS says here. Because in the Pinterest terms of service, they actually make this statement that as a Pinterest member, you get a license to, get this, reuse or modify or make derivative products from anything on their site. Think about that for just a second. That means, folks, that if you join Pinterest, which is free to do, and you go and see an image on Pinterest, you can essentially do any of this. You have this license to reuse, modify, or even make a derivative product from anything that's on the site, anything that anyone's ever put up on that site. Now, there are some caveats to that, but by and large, that is a lot of graphics that you get to use. You get to repin if you wish, which is basically taking somebody else's pin and pinning it on your own board, or pinning it somewhere else within Pinterest. That's all cool to do. It's actually even pulling it down and making your own sort of sub-graphic from it. That's all cool to do as well, okay? That's what the terms of service say, and in fact encourage you to do. I mean, you've heard of a vicious cycle? Well, when it comes to images on Pinterest, it is a delicious cycle, okay? Because you get to use all that, and you know, the really, really powerful thing, and it's the thing I really want each and every one of you to truly understand, and John alluded to this just a little while ago, and that is the length, the longevity of something that you're putting up on Pinterest. Because if you know anything about John or I, okay, you know, I won't say that we're lazy, because we're definitely not lazy, but we are very guarded with how we use our time, and anything that we can do to, you know, take a little bit of time and get a potentially big benefit from, lots of clicks and lots of traffic to our site for many years. That's what you get potentially within Pinterest if you're doing it the way we're teaching you, and if you're doing it within the fair use and in copyright guidelines. And essentially, that's how you can use Pinterest to actually get images up and going, and even start repinning other images that are already there. Okay, and we have certain criteria in the training that we talk about later to choose. Okay, what ones you want to repin, but that's sort of a whole different ball of wax. Now, John, did you have anything else you wanted to say on this whole issue of copyright here before we go on? Anything else you wanted to say on that?
No, I think we've covered it pretty well. I think there's a really good possibility there. I mean, the stuff that you can do with given Pinterest terms of service is amazing, but also the value of what you can do in terms of sharing your stuff. For most of us, we don't care about copyright in the sense that I love it when people share my images. That pin that I did for the real fat, what was it, the skinny rules. I've seen that on probably 50 to 100 websites by now. And again, I have, people are just taking it, and I'm going, okay, that's fine, because it's all going to come back to me eventually. Most people link back to me, and so I'm getting great traffic from it, and I want people to share it. And the purpose of Pinterest is, you want people to share your stuff. You want people to, multiply it and just spread it everywhere. And that's really the power of Pinterest. As far as I'm concerned, copyright isn't important as long as I respect people's intellectual property rights, which I do, because I think that's important.
Super important.
Yeah. So let's go on and talk a little bit about how to do it using Microsoft Word, because I want to show you how you can do it really, really quickly. Create something that's very quickly can be shared and passed on. And what I do when I'm creating graphics using Microsoft Word, which is basically a word processing program, is first I type in the quote. In this case, books are like people in that they'll turn up in your life when you need them most. It's a quote from Emma Thompson that was shared in a magazine that I was reading, and I just saw that it was reshared recently by Reader's Digest. But you type in the quote that you want, or the tips if you're doing a typographic. Then the second step is you format the text using, again, Microsoft Word, and it's not that hard to do. You can use whatever typeface you have control of. You make it a little bit bigger so it's readable. The third thing you do is you add an image. In this case, often when you're quoting somebody who's famous, they have product shots, publicity shots they want you to use. So you have fair use of them, but Emma Thompson doesn't have a website, so I couldn't find. So I used a movie poster featuring her. And then I write about the movie in my blog post, so it's perfectly okay to use the movie poster. So I just added the graphic. Again, very simple thing to do in Microsoft Word. Then I added some background texture to it. And for that, you can add background color, texture, or an image in the background by going to Design, Page Color, Fill Effects. That's for the most recent version of Microsoft Word, but they're all fairly simple. I've been using 2003 Microsoft Word for the longest time doing these things, but I just upgraded recently. But what I like is using Microsoft Word's gradient setting to give a two-color variegated, so a very, very dark blue to a lighter blue. And it gives a little texture to it and a little flavor. Step 5 is to add your credit, in this case, bookmarketingbestsellers.com, which is one of my websites. And or you could put in a copyright notice if you wanted to have that copyright there. And then the final thing is you have to use, because Microsoft Word is not a graphics program, you have to use a screen capture program of some sort. I'm going to capture a big part of the screen. But you can see that, and I'm using the snipping tool that comes with Microsoft Windows. Macintosh also has a screen capture program of some sort. This one that I use is called the snipping tool. And then all you have to do is save it as a graphic, either as a JPEG or as you can save it as a GIF or as a PNG. and then you save it as a graphic. Now it's a graphic, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So let's go through those basically 6 steps. 1, you type in the text. Very simple thing to do. Almost any of you can do it. Format the text. Again, very simple thing to do. Add an image. Again, that's really easy to do. You basically just drag the image to where you want it and let it go in Microsoft Word, and it stays there. Then you can add background color, texture, or image if you want to. You don't have to. And then you add a credit. Again, you don't have to do that, but you can. And then the final step, step 6, is you have to grab the screen image. In this case, here I'm capturing it. And again, here's the image. Very simple thing to do now, and then I save it as an image. And that's it. I mean, it's that simple to create it, and again, that was created in about 5 minutes. The thing that took the longest was finding an image of Emma Thompson that I felt comfortable to use within the copyright law. So Daniel has a question for all of you, and that is, have we delivered on our promise to you? And Daniel, you're going to take over as the presenter.
Yep, I think I just did, and hopefully you all can see that. Yes, y'all can see my screen there. Okay, great. So let me ask you, have we delivered? Have we delivered on our promise to you? If so, go to your questions box right now and type in heck yes. Right on, man. You rocked it. Which, by the way, you did, John. In my humble opinion, you always do. Okay. Oh, great. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you saying, Richard and EA and Michael and CO and Stephen and Neil and Olga and Lynn, and they're coming in so fast and furious now I can't even keep up. And Stephen and Tina. Okay. Thank you so much for that. More coming in. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Now, one of the things that I wanted to chat with you about here, and we still have more training to go, by the way. I just want to make sure that you knew that when we were preparing this presentation today, we had essentially 2 options. With option 1 is we could show you some really cool stuff here for about an hour, and then we could simply part ways. Then option 2 is we can extend a special offer to those of you who are interested in putting into action today what we showed you in the easiest, most effective, and simplest ways. Now, we chose option 2, and when you see what it is, I think you're going to be very glad we put this together for you. What I'd like to do is introduce you to real fast Pinterest. And what this is a total system for Pinterest success. Now, and here's the best thing, okay? And this is actually, if you've ever seen anything that John or I have ever done, all right, you can tell that we are not graphic designers by any stretch of the imagination. We are not known for being designers. And that's the beauty of this. It's this whole program and the success that John and I have seen with it is specifically designed for people just like you and I who are not graphic designers. Now, if you do know how to make pretty graphics, so much the better. But, you don't need to. That's the major point I want to get across to you. Now, this whole system, Real Fast Pinterest, really does show you the formula for Pinterest success, and this is what I mean. Because with this, with what's going on with the traffic, see, what we're able to do is show you how to generate traffic or eyeballs to any offer that you want to send them to. And if you're sending them to an offer that converts, okay, just like any other traffic, it's going to convert. And that's really the power of this, because Pinterest essentially does it for free, okay, for free, and it does it continuously. In other words, and cumulatively. So the effort and the work that you put in today continues to work for you, and then the work that you put in tomorrow, a little bit more, right? And as time goes on and you get all these great graphical assets out and working for you, bada bing, then you're really rocking with great targeted traffic. And we'll talk more about that in just a second, because that's a real key thing to conversions, is that the people that you're sending people to offers that they want to see, that they're already interested in. Why? Because this is a niche-oriented website. Pinterest is a niche website. It's in multitudinous, huge numbers of niches. And if you got an offer for this or that, whatever it happens to be, you can find an audience on Pinterest for it. That is the beauty. Even, by the way, even B2B type audiences. All right? So we show you how to do that, essentially how to post infographics that you create, okay, and start getting traffic from them almost immediately, because it's about posting the right images here. There are lots of images that you can post. And the fact of the matter is that you want to do those images that make the most sense, that have the highest probabilities that they'll in fact go viral for you and maximize your exposure. So that is another module within Real Fast Pinterest. Then of course we're going to talk much more about this little hack that I already sort of told you about, but we talk about how to exploit it. Within the Pinterest Terms of Service that essentially provides you with an unlimited supply of images to use for free. Now this is the other very cool thing, and I love this about it, okay? The 2-minute to make graphic that can literally generate traffic for 2 years plus. Now I said earlier that Pinterest is essentially a niche website, and here's what I meant by that. Let's say that your niche, whatever you sell products in, whatever your bailiwick is, whatever your expertise is in, okay, happens to be, well, let's say leisure sailboating. That's your thing, right? You really like leisure sailboating. And the really cool thing is that you could start a leisure boating board on Pinterest and start pinning things to that board. And as time goes by, because everything that you put up on a Pinterest board stays on that board, okay, forever and ever, amen. When somebody new comes on Pinterest and looks for their passion, maybe their passion is leisure sailboating too, they type in, leisure sailboating, and up comes one of your pins. Okay? Now here's the beautiful thing about it. If they like that one pin, it is very likely, because they're an enthusiast, they're passionate about that particular niche, it is very likely that not only will they look at your pin, but they'll go to your board where that pin is kept and then scroll through all of your pins that you've ever put up there. Okay? Why is that? Well, I want you to understand that really what we're talking about here, for those of you that may have been in internet marketing for a while, you know what I'm talking about, but really what this is it's a graphical article marketing on steroids with a viral aspect to it. That's really what Pinterest is, the way we teach it and the way we know that it works, because it works for us and for our students, right? So that's really the crux of it here, is that you can actually take an action today, tonight, right, or tomorrow, whenever, and have that benefit you potentially for weeks, months, and even years later. And I love, love, love that. Okay, that's so powerful, and I hope that you see it. And of course, we teach that within the Real Fast Pinterest training. Now, here's the other thing. Because it's all about repinning, because I said earlier that you can take images that are already on Pinterest, right, and you can do whatever you want with them, essentially, according to their terms of service, and you need to look at that. But there are certain criteria that we apply, we teach you within the program on what to repin and why, okay? Because to do it strategically is really important, right? So that you can, again, maximize your viral spread of your link and your clicks back to whatever offer you want to send people to, okay, or wherever you want to send them. So we have a module within Real Fast Pinterest for that. Oh, and then this too. Of course, creating book sales from bookographics or typographics. And by the way, it doesn't have to be book sales. This could be affiliate offers. This could be Kindle books. This could be information products. This could be a Teespring account. You can do all of that with this type of either bookographic or typographic. It's that powerful. Now, you know, John alluded to this a little earlier during his presentation when he was saying about how he basically makes bank every month with Pinterest, you know, driving Pinterest traffic to through his Amazon link. Well, there's some pretty cool hacks that we show you how to employ within Pinterest to actually get more traction, more traffic to any Amazon listing that you want. And the beautiful thing is Pinterest likes to send traffic to Amazon. I mean, it's kind of designed that way in a way. As a matter of fact, I call this the perfect couple, or the match made in heaven, because when you do this right, you're actually sending lots of potential traffic through your Pinterest links to Amazon. So we have a module on that. Now, I'm very excited about this. I get kind of worked up about this only because I've seen the power of it in my own business. It's called group boards, and as I put here, group boards equals group love. And I'm going to have John come on and explain this here in just a second. But suffice it to say that I really want you to pay attention to what you can do with group boards. It's mind-blowing. It's phenomenal. So, John, can you explain to folks what group boards are and why they're so doggone important to everyone here?
Okay. The great thing about group boards is, first of all, they're really simple to do. All you have to do is click on invite other people to pin on your board. So you can create any board you want and then start inviting people to repin on it as well. So that's how simple it is to create a group board. I mean, you can do it in like 3 seconds. But I had started with a board called On Blogging and Internet Marketing, and I was just posting to it, and then I decided I'm going to make it a group board. And so I invited some of the people that I knew, like Joel Comm and Mike Koenig and Jason Fladian, to post on the board. And remarkably, they still do. I mean, they all accept it. I also invited Craig Newmark, who I don't know, and he's the founder of Craigslist, and he said yes. And it's amazing. He still posts to this board on a regular basis. But the power of a group board is that it multiplies your exposure when you're doing a board, because that board shows up not just on my profile, but it's also, as you can see right here in this screenshot, on Joe Comm's profile. It's on Craig Newmark's, it's on Mike Koenig's, it's on Jason Fladian, and it's on, I think I have about 40 other people that I've invited so far to be part of that group board. And it shows up on all of their pages. And, you know, when you're the founder of a group, you always post more than anybody else. So I'm getting not only exposure to the people that follow me, but also the people that follow Mike and Jason and Joel and Craig and the other 40 people. And so it's very powerful that way just by itself. Excuse me. The neat thing is, and one of the things that I think Daniel has discovered is that, you know, you don't only have to create your own, but you can also start to, you know, join other group boards, get an invitation to them, and start to maximize your exposure very, very quickly. And you'll be amazed how many people will start following you because they discover you on one of the group boards. Daniel, you want to talk about how you're using it to get more email signups?
Yeah, but before we did that, I wanted to also just make special note that when you are the owner of the group board, you control this real estate right here. Okay, in other words, you control what is displayed. So in this case, this very webinar, the webinar that you are on right now, is what's displayed. That's what we're promoting, and yet it's in Joel's keeps it in the #1 place up here, right? And and then also he, same with Craig. Well, I don't know about Craig, but they're all on, all on these boards, and we actually get to promote this very webinar, on all these internet marketers boards, which is huge. Okay, and I don't want this lesson to escape you, because it's really quite powerful that you can do the same with the superstars in whatever niche that you're in. Okay, that's really the key that I wanna make here. Now, here's the other thing, and I think this is really important. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Lynn had a question on how you get invitations to join a board, and it all depends on the board. Most of them will tell you, here's how you can get an invite, email me or something like that. You do have to ask for the invite, or they will invite you if they're friends of yours. But many of them will say, email me if you want to be posting to this board. A good strategy is just follow that board, repin often enough, and then they'll start to see you and recognize you, and then you can ask for the invite.
Yes. Now, and here's the other thing, that when I did this, because I started, and I'll probably show them that a little later, John. But essentially, when I started doing this, when I started pinning to a group board, I started doing one tip, fast writing tip, and it's blowing up my opt-in, because I send them from the graphic to an opt-in form, and it's growing my list, which, by the way, eyeballs, list, the money is in the list, right? And if you can send your clicks to an opt-in first, so that you get multiple bites of the apple, right? Once you get them on a list, you can start developing a relationship with them, and once in a while sending them an offer, right? So you get multiple times where you get to make money potentially from those folks on your list. That's why it's so crucial that you use this to, in my opinion, to send folks to an opt-in form. As a matter of fact, I don't do anything on Pinterest. I want to make sure that I don't knowingly do anything on Pinterest without first sending folks to a squeeze page of some kind. Okay, that's my John does it a little differently. This is the way I choose to do it, and I am very, very happy with the results. And of course, we teach you how to go about doing this, setting up the group board, applying to them, and actually making money from being a part of a group board within the Real Fast Pinterest module on that subject. So I just wanted to make sure folks were clear on that. So back over to you. Oh, wait a minute. I think I am.
It's you again.
I am. It is me. Okay. Yeah. So here's, and I wanted to just show you, because I think right here. Let me go ahead and do this real quick so that you could see, just to kind of give you a little proof of the pie on this point. Let me close this down here. Let me get this, and let me go back over here. Okay. So here's my Pinterest board. All right, and I've been doing a number of these, as I said, these tips, right? So if I go, and I just posted this one just a moment ago, and they look like this. They're little fast writing tips, and I'm on a number of group boards, so I'll post it there as well. And if you click on this, okay, if you click on this, you like the tip, you say, oh man, Daniel's really pretty good when it comes to this writing and creating content quickly. Let me click on it. It'll take you to a squeeze page, and essentially this is an automated webinar, which, by the way, also converts, okay? And people put in their name and email address, okay? And from here, I just wanted to show you the results of this. By the way, this is on Stealth Seminar. That's the platform this is, and the reason why I'm telling you that here is because you see right here. This is SS, profiting from real fast books, and as you can see, page after page after page after page of signups. Okay, I get one or two almost every day, and they keep going back, page after page after page. Again, these are new folks into the fold, okay, all because of Pinterest. And that is so powerful. And remember, if you're an affiliate marketer, if you understand internet marketing at all, these links, these new people, they're not cookie to anyone else. That is, if somebody buys something from me, I don't have to pay an affiliate commission, right? That's cool. That means they're double valuable in my book, okay? So I just wanted to show you a little proof of the pie here that this stuff actually works, right? It actually works. Okay, so good. I wanted to show you that. Now, let's keep on trucking here because we got lots more to tell you about. Now, we showed you today how to go about creating infographics in MS Word. It was a very quick one, but we have a whole module on that within the training as well. Now, the other thing is we have a whole module on how to stay out of legal hot water, okay? Because let me tell you something. It is possible to not do Pinterest right and get into legal hot water. In other words, it is very possible to infringe on somebody's copyright and end up getting in trouble, getting getting a letter from a lawyer and all that. So I put together this module called Stay Out of Legal Hot Water, and it's really important that you watch it, okay? And even if you decide not to take us up on this offer, it's so important that if you don't learn it from me, learn it from someone before you actually try to do Pinterest so that you can stay out of that problem, okay? So that is also a part of this training. Now, I wanted to show you that John and I are really serious about your using this and actually applying it in your business. So we know in order for that to actually happen, we needed to make our material easy to consume, all right? Easy to use, easy to implement. So what we did was we created this environment. I call it an easy-to-learn environment. And here's what it looks like. This is actually a screenshot from our first module. And I just wanted to show you real quick, first off, that there's a video tutorial. And this is set up, by the way, so that you can watch and then go do. Watch and then do. Watch and do. And follow along in that fashion. Now, if you are the type of person that prefers to read your material, that's cool. I'm down with that. We have actually made notes for every module, or almost the main modules within the training anyway, so that you can read and or watch, or you can go back and forth. So some people like to read and then watch to get the finer points of something. Or the exact opposite. They like to watch the video and then go back and read to get the finer points. Either way, we've got something for your learning style, and that's, to me, very, very important. Now, we have so many great bonuses that I'm so excited to tell you about. Let me tell you about our very first bonus here, one of many, okay, which is our Sell 100 Books in the next 2 weeks using free or low-cost strategies with our Real Fast Book Marketing Program. By the way, this is a training that John and I put out several years ago, still excellent training, and our USP is to sell 100 books or anything else for that matter, and then in 2 weeks using free or low-cost strategies. Now, if you were to go to Real Fast Book Marketing right now, we still sell this today for $97, and it still sells all the time, okay? But you're going to get this completely free. And just to kind of give you just kind of tip our hat here with some of the raves that we've gotten, some of the compliments, some of the testimonials we've gotten just over the Pinterest or the Real Fast Book Marketing Program. This came from Anne Marie, who says, "Big thank you, guys. I've been going through the bonus on book marketing, and it's too amazing for words. I have so many excellent tips to follow through now. And seeing more bonuses down this page, it's madness. But thank you both. You deserve the A, B, C, D, above and beyond the Call of Duty awards." And that's just for our bonus. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be very clear about this. Real Fast Pinterest is a damned good program. Okay? We didn't just throw this together. It took thought, effort, energy, consideration to make it as easy as possible for you to use. But as good as it is, and it is doggone good, we also know that you are going to have questions, right? You're going to need guidance for your specific circumstance. That's why we put together this members-only private Facebook group, okay, which you get access to, and you get to ask us questions. I'm in there. John's in there. We have a full-time moderator in there. Plus, I have 2 people on my support staff who also answer questions in the members-only Facebook group. So you get access to that as well. But the bonuses don't end there because, you know, John is really a genius when it comes to social media. So he has put together Facebook marketing for authors, get more fans and book sales, and the Twitter Mania Manual, the secret to building an incredibly fanatical following on Twitter, and how to use LinkedIn to promote yourself as an author or expert, find promotional partners, and build long-lasting and useful relationships. Taken together, this really truly is a social marketing suite for folks just like us. Internet marketers, authors, information product creators, publishers, experts, coaches, trainers, okay? That is who this is for. And you get the entire package when you get Real Fast Pinterest. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, what's the investment? Well, believe it or not, it is cheap, even with the regular price. $297, but we're doing a webinar-only investment of $127. And you can grab that very special deal at realfastpinterest.com/rich. And if you all, I believe we have it in the chat area. If you would click on that, let me know that that works. That would be awesome. Let me know that that works. Cool. Does that work? Okay. Great. So here's the deal, folks. If you are here live, I want to congratulate you because what I'm about to say here, everything on this screen, actually gets edited out. Because if you are here live on this webinar, you get the entire package for not $127, but only $97. Okay? But you must, here's the catch, there is a catch. You must go and order right now while we are live on this webinar, and only while we are live on this webinar, okay, at realfastpinterest.com/rich, okay? And by the way, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee even with this offer, okay, even at the lower price point. But are there any questions on the $97 piece before I move on? Because I want to just talk about it here on this screen because I know to edit this out, right, for the replay. The people, by the way, the people on the replay, they're not going to be as lucky. People that left earlier, they're not going to be as lucky. They're going to pay $127 on the replay. You, if you get it right now at realfastpinterest.com/rich, you get the whole kit and caboodle, $97 if you get it right now. Okay, any questions on this $97 deal before I move on? Let me just check here. Okay, looks like we are good here, and I see the orders start to come in. Great. Okay, excellent. Okay, cool. And I'm going to have you talk to Kenneth, if you would talk to Rich about that. Okay. So, Rich, if you come on and answer Kenneth here in the chat, that would be awesome. All right. So I'm going to move on since we know that that's $97, and that's only while we are live. Okay, only while we are live. Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep on trucking because actually I have more bonuses to tell you about. Now I wanted to tell you about our guarantee because I don't want you to decide right now. Believe it or not. I want you to take advantage of our unconditional triple guarantee. Just go ahead and try Real Fast Pinterest for 30 days. And if you're not making the massive traffic you want, or you don't like our radical enthusiasm, because you can obviously tell John and I are radically enthusiastic, only because we know that Real Fast Pinterest works, okay? But if you don't like it, or if you're just unhappy for any reason, no worries. We'll refund every penny you invested today, no questions asked, no hassles, and no hard feelings, okay? The place where you go to grab this is at realfastpinterest.com/rich. If you are watching this live, that link is in the chat area. If you're watching this on a replay, the link is probably right below where you're watching right now, okay? All right, so that's the guarantee. Now, I want to kind of put this in perspective for you. Now, as I said, Real Fast Pinterest is a $127 investment. And I wanted to show you my Amex bill here. As you can see, this is from my Amex bill, and you can see, or my American Express bill, and you can see I have highlighted one of my favorite restaurants that I take my family to. We have a condo in Austin. So I took my family up to this really good restaurant called North by Northwest, and I took my family of 4 here. We go there all the time, and it's usually about this price. For a family of 4, no alcohol, $130.25 for 4 of us. And the point that I want to make here is it's easy to give up one lunch to learn a skill that can feed you and your family the rest of your life, okay? The place where you go to grab this is at realfastpinterest.com/rich, or click that link that's in your chat area or right below where you're watching right now. Now, we still have more bonuses, because the fact is that this is actually a dynamic and continually growing training, okay? In fact, John and I learned that many of you were like, well, we see this problem, or we have this issue with it, or this hole we see in it, or we want to learn about this or that. So John and I watch that, and we react, and we create new training to go into the program. For example, you see these 3 trainings here: converting Pinterest traffic to cash. I thought it was enough, and I've been getting this question throughout tonight's presentation. Well, show me your conversion numbers. Show me your conversion numbers. How do you make this into money? Well, as I said, this is primarily, this is what I was answering in the background here. This is primarily a traffic play. Okay, you send folks to any site that has a good or any offer that has good conversions, and you're going to make money. Okay. But I broke it down even further to make it just, spoon-fed, easy, with converting that Pinterest traffic into cash. And we did a completely new training, and it's a training within a training. I could easily sell it by itself, on converting that Pinterest traffic to cash. So that is an additional module that we made for you. Also, designing more cool tools and info products with free online tools, and get your first 100 followers on Pinterest in 14 days. Those are 3 additional modules that you're also going to get when you go, and you're going there right now, realfastpinterest.com/rich, or click that button that's in the chat area or right below where you're watching right now. Now, I want to make sure that we're real clear on this, because this is a very, very sort of, well, let me just explain it to you this way. I'm sure that you've seen many flashes in the pan. If you've been trying to get an internet business going for a while, you've seen people come and you've seen people go, okay? And what I want you to understand is that John and I are the real deal. John has been in business for over 30 years, okay? He's not going anywhere, okay? And I've been in business coming up on 10 years now. 10 years coming up on the 1st of this year. And we know, John and I know, and Rich knows as well, that our success is directly related to yours. Okay? We know that the more successful you are, the more successful we're going to be. So we have so many different ways to help you, and that's one of the reasons why we've had such staying power, and why I want to make sure that you understand that you're not going to be alone in your journey to a more profitable business. Okay? We're here. Okay? We're not going anywhere. Place where you want to go to grab this very special deal is at realfastpinterest.com/Rich. You're going there right now, or click that link that's in your chat area or right below where you're watching. Okay? Now, if you've been on the fence, and I've seen literally dozens of orders, you've probably heard them kind of come through here in the background with my PayPal ringing in the background here. But there goes another one. But if you've been on the fence until now, you will, this one bonus, I'm going to have John come on and explain this bonus to you. This is going to push you over the edge, because my job here tonight is to push you over the edge. Either do it or not do it. Okay? So John, can you tell folks why this is really our best bonus, and why this is actually worth many, many, many multiples of what we're asking for this great training?
Yeah, Daniel. When we started talking about the power of group boards, I realized that we needed to have our own group board for all the people that join Real Fast Pinterest. And so I created a group board called Typographics to encourage people to post their typographics and quote graphics and bookographics to the board. And the power of it is that it shows up on all the members' pages. So it's a great way to start to get more exposure for any post that you're doing, and to get more people to follow you, which is a crucial way of building up the repins. The other neat thing is that, I'm always looking at the board. I visit it every day, and I will often make comments on how to make your post better, or I will repin it to one of my specific boards. So if you have something about writing, I'll put it to my writing board. If you have something on health and fitness, I'll put it on my health and fitness board, so that you get the targeted followers that I have, because I have right now around 20,250 people following me. And so you get that exposure double, because one, you get it when it's posted to the typographic board, but two, you get it when I specifically repin it to one of my specific targeted boards. Plus, a lot of the other people will repin it as well, and that means to one of their targeted boards, and that means you'll get even more exposure. It's also a great way to start to, get people to follow you and so on.
Yeah, John, back the bus up here just a second, because I'm
back the bus up.
Yeah, whoa, stop that. Throw it in reverse. Back the bus up. John, tell me once again, how many folks you have following you right now?
As of about an hour ago, it was 20,276.
Okay, so let's just say 20,000 people that you potentially get access to by and through being a member of Typographics. Fair?
Right.
Yeah. So this is the great power of this one bonus, and if that don't convince you, I just don't know what will, because basically it's a built-in audience already there waiting for you, right? And
right. You don't have to have your own built-in audience, because this will already expose you to a lot of people without you having any followers. And but one of the things we encourage people to do is that every member of the typographic board follow each other, and a lot of them do, and that gets you a lot of followers right away.
Very quickly. Now, the other thing, by the way, the place where you go to grab this is at realfastpinterest.com/Rich, okay, and that link is in the chat area or right below where you're watching if you're watching on our replay. But I wanted to just highlight real quickly here some of John's accomplishments so that you know the caliber of the information, if it weren't already self-evident to you. But he took an author, maybe some of you have heard of Deepak Chopra. When John first got a hold of him, he was a simple Vanity Press author, and helped him to become a New York Times bestseller 8 times over, and a celebrity in his own right. Okay, again, this is the caliber of of information that you get to plug into. Okay, this is this is not tiddlywinks. We're talking about this is where the big boys hang. Okay, and that's one of the things that I want you to see, and one of the reasons why for just a teeny tiny minuscule, really $127 investment, realfastpinterest.com/rich. You're going there now is a no-brainer. Okay, an absolute no-brainer. So head there right now, realfastpinterest.com/rich. Now, one other thing I wanted to highlight here from our friend Joel Com, who says, Kramer's the go-to guy when it comes to marketing books. Not only are Kramer's tips and resources excellent for promoting books, but you could use many of the techniques and strategies for promoting a variety of other goods and services. Highly recommended. Joel Com, New York Times bestselling author. Place where you go to grab it is realfastpinterest.com/rich. Okay? Now, some of you are saying, well, Daniel, this all sounds well and good. I'm still not quite convinced. How quick can we see results? Well, let me just kind of take you through this, okay? This is from Rhonda, and Rhonda's in our Real Fast Pinterest group, and I want you to notice the date. You see where it says July 3rd? Okay, and it says results update. Yesterday, that is July 2nd, I enrolled in the course, watched the videos, and started implementing. The doing part was late in the afternoon. I had no Pinterest traffic for the last month. She says no surprises as I hadn't used it as a source. But drum roll, please, 23.5% of my traffic came from Pinterest. What does this mean? It means that she increased her traffic to her website by 25%, almost overnight. Okay? That's how quick this can happen for you if you will take the steps, and they're not difficult to take. I mean, really, anyone could do this. And the place where you go to grab this, again, is at realfastpinterest.com/rich. Now, some of you may have...
Daniel,
yes, go ahead.
Can I say one other thing? One of the people that's on the webinar today wrote a note saying that she has tripled her traffic using this program, and now she's just figuring out, okay, now I've got to monetize it.
Exactly, and and I posted that in the comments, by the way, from Judith. And Judith, I want to refer you back to the module on converting Pinterest traffic to cash. Okay, go through that with a fine-tooth comb. Follow the directions I give you there, and you will start seeing cash. Okay, you will start monetizing that traffic. Okay, so let's talk about reviving old blog posts. For those of you who may have gotten on the blog bandwagon. John, can you talk about this idea of reviving old blog posts and why it's so doggone important?
Well, the really neat thing about reviving old blog posts means you don't have to create new blog posts to get more traffic to your website. All you need to do is revive your old ones. And that means that, like for me, I've been blogging for, I don't know, over 10 years, and a lot of it in the beginning was just writing text because that's what I am, a writer. But I'm going back to a lot of those blog posts, adding an image and then pinning it and social sharing it everywhere. And I've doubled my traffic in that time. It's really simple. You don't have to write a new blog post. Just revive your old one and pin it and Facebook it and things like that and social share it. And you'll start getting a lot more traffic without having to do any new work in terms of writing new blog posts and things like that.
It's a beautiful thing. It really truly
is. It's beautiful. And the thing is, it's long-lasting, targeted traffic.
Yeah, exactly. And so why do we keep making a big deal about the targeted? Because targeted traffic really equates to quality demographic, people that really want to see what's on the other side of that click. Okay? That's the difference between junk traffic, okay, and real people, real eyeballs that are really interested in whatever it is you're selling on the other end of that, okay? That's the key. That's what's so powerful about Real Fast Pinterest and why you're going there right now at realfastpinterest.com/rich, okay? And I want you to remember this because, and I alluded to this a little earlier, that Pinterest retains a remarkably high percentage of new users who go on to use the site at high rates and stay active on the site long after they've joined. What does this mean? Well, I'll give you an example. So I've always been interested in cars. I like Porsches and, all the things that you'd think of, middle-aged guy likes, right? So I've started just a board on, my dream cars, those cars that I already own and those cars that I intend to buy, all right? And I have that on my dream cars board. Well, I didn't start that board until, well, probably a year after being on Pinterest. Because I thought, I'd like to see what other people that are interested in Porsches and Corvettes and whatnot, what they're posting. And that's the beautiful thing. So I looked at some folks and started picking out images that I like and started scrolling through other people's boards on their favorite cars and whatnot. That's the beauty, folks. Because I stick with it, and not just me, but a lot of people out there in Pinterest land. And they'll think, hey, I'd like to find a really great peach cobbler recipe. And they'll type in peach cobbler to see who's got, country cooking recipes and whatnot. Okay, and if you've got a product that fits in that niche, well, away you go. Okay, or whatever niche it happens to be. And that's the big doggone deal here. By the way, time is starting to run out here on this very special deal. So if you've decided to grab Real Fast Pinterest, and you have, head on over to realfastpinterest.com/rich and grab it right now. That link is in the chat area or right below where you're now watching if you're on a replay. Okay. Now, before we're going to get into some questions here because I see we have a lot of questions here, and I'm going to bring Rich on here. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Daniel, one of the things that somebody's interested in, they want to hear from Rich, and they want to hear what his special bonuses are, because he said at the beginning he had.
I did say that, didn't I? Huh?
And we will definitely be getting to that.
Yeah, I said that. I'm right here. Yeah, people are going to hold me to that, aren't they?
But before we do this,
of course I'm here. I was listening to every word. I got my pen and paper out. I'm an author too, Daniel, and this sole Pinterest thing. First of all, I wrote a joke about Pinterest. I said Pinterest just announced that they've doubled the amount of men that they've had as members since last year. So now the total number is 2.
2.
Okay. Bada boom.
I'll
rewrite that one. But look, when I first came on and I was talking about I'll give everybody a little bonus. First of all, I've got everybody's email list. So I'm going to send everybody a copy of my book, which is actually it's an ebook with all the actual interviews from 14 the book is called Inside the Minds of Marketing Millionaires, and it's a great insight from 14 of the world's best, including Armin Moran, Mike Bilsame. I even got Mike Lance in there, Omar Martin, Brian Rose, Brad Goss, just Mark Thompson. And you know what? I don't know why you haven't gotten in there, Daniel. And John, you're awesome, by the way. Just listening to this whole thing, it's so polished and professional, and it's a privilege to actually hear this. I'm going to be giving everybody who just attended a copy of this, but I'm going to go a step further. I am very lucky to be associated with JV Zoo, and because I'm associated with JV Zoo, I'm going to be at Marketing Mayhem West, which is going to be held in San Diego on, I think it's March 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. For everybody who takes advantage of this tonight, who purchases it tonight, and you could go ahead and buy a ticket now. For a regular ticket, it's $199. For everybody who's already purchased, so don't worry about it. If you purchased, I'm giving away one free VIP, my personal VIP ticket to Marketing Mayhem in San Diego if you can make it there. That's everyone who purchased and everyone who takes advantage of this great opportunity now. Now, if you take a look at Marketing Mayhem, you know that we bring in the best speakers. We bring in just top quality people that not only will teach you, but it seems like it's a great social event that everybody and their brother gets together. And we're talking the biggest guys in the industry, from Ben Atkins, Omar Martin, and all these people that I've mentioned, Mike Bilsame, Andy Jenkins, Ryan Dice, That other guy that's going to be here that does the list, he used to be a surfer, cut his hair. I forget who it is, but he's going to be there too. It's the perfect social event to be a fly on the wall and listen to some of these people. I mean, I watched Jason Fladline at one of the events actually hold court in the lobby to 2 or 3 people with about 25 people just in awe listening to Jason talk. And this event is going to be huge. So take advantage of this now. First of all, everybody who has attended is going to get an e-copy of my book. And for those of you who purchase, you're going to be my personal VIP. Now, what does that mean? Well, you get to go backstage with everybody. You get to meet all the speakers. You get to hang out with the other VIPs. Plus, you're going to be able to, if they do this, last year we had Vanilla Ice and Coolio. All my VIPs got to go backstage and meet them. This year we're having Rob Bass and Tone Loc and Flavor Flav. EBR just seems to like these old 80s rappers. Anyway, if they have one of those meet and greets, you guys are going to be my guest. So how's that, Daniel? Is that a good enough bonus?
Wow. That's awesomeness. Thank you, man.
You're very welcome. And I'll tell you why I did it, okay? Because, number one, I care about my list. Number two, everybody who's here, I love to have a rapport with, and I'd love to meet. And number three, I really care about my folks. And when I offer a webinar and a product like we've done tonight, I just want everybody to take advantage of it. Now, you know, I know you gave a guarantee, and God bless you, Daniel, but this is something that I believe that if you try it and you actually use it, I mean, who would not want to get people? Let's say it's only 100, you know, or 200 or 3 people to see your book or to see your website. Would that not be worth it? And I sincerely believe it is. Now, a little bit earlier you said, and I'm going to shut up here in a minute because I'm just really excited about this. Just one more thing. I've been thinking about this whole thing, and I listened to both you and John, and I just trying to figure out a reason not to buy. I mean, is it because I don't like these two guys? Is it because the credibility? Maybe they're just, you know, maybe it's BS. Are they pulling the wool over my eyes? What about the product? Is it really going to work for me? I mean, Pinterest, come on, really? You know, it's like you said, you know, it's the way to a lady's heart is to pin her on Pinterest. And then as I listen, and I'm going, oh my God, you know, why have I missed this? How have I missed this? And there's 3 reasons why people don't take advantage of this. And I think I'm just going to clear this up right now, and I'll be done. Number one, people you don't buy the presenters, and golly, you know, both Daniel and John, you guys are excellent. I mean, everything was so clear and precise. I have really no questions that you guys know your stuff. And the product, I'm excited because the product is there. It's just another way to get people to my site. And the money, well, you know what? $97 is not the issue. Hey, excuse me, dogs, my rescues. But, you know, I love them. What can I say?
It's actually 127.
Awesome, Daniel. So I just want to let you know that I'm here in the background. I'm going to mute myself again. But, folks, if you've already purchased it, you'll get an email from me saying and giving you the ticket through the email. I'll be there. I haven't been fired yet, so I'm doing good with JB Sue. And you'll get a copy of my ebook as well. So anyway, Daniel, thank you, and John, thank you so much. I'm going to let you guys get back. I'm going to be listening here in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, Rich, I just wanted to say that your bonus is an incredible bonus because I know the Marketing Mayhem programs are incredible. And the opportunity to connect with people and make those kinds of connections are so, so important.
They really are. They really, truly are. Which, by the way, since we're talking about bonuses still, you know, we've got a bonus here that we haven't even talked about. We haven't even revealed yet. And what I wanted to do, this is for those of you, for the literally dozens and dozens of you that wisely got in on this, and you still can, by the way, and I really want you to. This is the first page that you're going to see, right? But I want you to, the first thing I want you to do is come on down here to where it says 07 big bonuses here, because I've got more bonuses for you. If you come down here, and well, first bit of homework, I want you to to click on this and join the Facebook group. Okay, just click right on that banner, and as you can see here, we have 580 folks right there, right? And that's all very, very cool. Now, here's the other thing. If I come back here,
it's a great place, that group, to ask questions, get support, have people, follow you and things like that. It's very active, and I'm answering questions there all the time.
Exactly. And as am I, as in other folks on staff. So
yes.
You're well cared for. I said this earlier, and I wasn't just like blowing smoke. We do care about your success, and we're here. We're not going anywhere. We're not one of those take your money and run kind of folks. We're here, and we're helping you. And this is again more proof of that. But here again, this is where you get your real fast book marketing bonus. Just click on this banner right there. Then I wanted to show you this last bonus here. And John, can you tell folks about the writing tips and graphics quotes that we haven't actually even talked about?
Yeah, I just decided I'd give people a jump start on things that they can pin. And so I created 40 graphics that I've pinned at one point or another. They're about the value of reading books and writing books and tips on writing. And so I decided I'd give those to you to use. So they're copyright free. You can use them any way you want. You can modify them. I don't care what you do with them. But I wanted to give you a fast start in pinning, because you can pin these graphics and start getting going right away. So you don't have to, you don't have to say, well, what am I going to create? What am I going to do? Well, just pin some of these to start off with, and that'll give you a good jump start. And
right.
if you have written a book at all, these are really valuable because there's good quotes on the value of reading and why you would want to read books. And so you can share those very easily and quickly.
Yeah, thanks, John. So yeah, just another way to help you hit the ground running, right? That's what this is all about. We want fast results for you, okay? And we equip you to start getting fast results. Now, here's the other thing I just wanted to really briefly say. You'll see that under all of, let's just go to this Pinterest for Traffic module 2. Under each module, you'll see all the other modules. So navigation is really, really quick and easy. I just wanted to make sure that you all knew about that. So with that, Rich, if you want to start with the Q&A, John and I will be happy to go and answer questions. But before I do that, I just want to, for those folks that have decided to grab this very special offer and have not yet done it, the place to go is at realfastpinterest.com/rich, and that link, for those of you that are here live, is in the chat area. Or it's in, if you're here on a replay, it's probably right below or somewhere around this video. So go ahead and grab this now before this. By the way, this is a time-limited offer. So if you are here live, if you are here on a replay, when you see that countdown timer go away, it's gone. Okay, you pay $297. And I don't want you out in the cold. I mean, I don't want you having, here's the thing. As I said earlier, I want to push you off the fence one way or another. Because I'll tell you what, John and I and Rich, we're set. I could speak specifically for John and I, but we're set financially. Whether you buy or not buy is not going to matter a whit of difference in our lives, but I can guarantee you this. It will matter greatly in yours. Okay, so if you've decided to grab this very special deal at realfastpinterest.com/rich, my strong suggestion is that you grab it right now at $127 or risk getting shut out and paying $297. So why do that? Okay, place to go to grab it is realfastpinterest.com/rich. And Rich, back over to you for a question, sir, and we will tidy up.
That would be awesome. God, I'm just, it's not that I'm out of breath, and I get excited. Some people say I get excited about every product, and I'd like to speak for myself. for that comment that you just made about the two of you. I am not financially happy, especially for the rest. Now, don't get me wrong. I work and I work hard. And because I work hard and I'm a good guy, I'd like to think I have good character, good things are going to happen. But I've only started this 3 years ago, and if it wasn't for my friend Brian Rose, I wouldn't have gotten involved with internet marketing. And he took me from a guy who was pretty much down in the dumps. When I say down in the dumps, I was not doing well. And he showed me how I could make money becoming an internet marketer. Now, I've had experience in radio, and for the 40 years I was in radio, now, you know, that's up and down, and you make minimum wage, and you go from town to town, but you get to be on the radio, and that's where I got my skills as I like to think, as a webinar host. I've had some legal experience. When I was in the Army, I was a paralegal and a court reporter and a legal clerk. I was also a sentencing mitigation specialist, and I was just surrounded by so much negativity, that actually put me down in the dumper too. So I'm 56 years old and wondering, what the heck am I going to do for the rest of my life? And E. Brian Rose came back into it. Now, let me just share a quick little story. E. Brian Rose and I, we played professional poker together. He had a TV show back in the early 2000s where he had a show called Poker TV Network, and I had a magazine and a radio show called Poker Talk America Coast to Coast. And together, the both of us, not only we had the media covered, but we'd also played professional poker. So we've been great friends for many years, and we lost track of each other for a few years. And when he's come back into my life, he said, "This is what I'm doing now." And he had started with what was called, I think it was Google Red Carpet, and he was just on the cusp of doing JVZoo and webinar swaps, and he says, "Rich, there's going to be great things here. Would you like to jump in this with us and come along for the ride?" Which I was grateful. At the time, I had a legal product that I was just basically doing copy and paste and trying to use my paralegal skills in order to create documents, which I was totally wrong about, because not only was I doing it wrong, but I should leave the lawyering stuff to the lawyers, as Daniel will tell you. So with that being said, I quit doing that completely, and I just jumped on board and started with JVZoo. I was doing their support and working with them, and from then I learned. They gave me webinar swaps, and I got to do over 400 webinars with all kinds of different talent. When I say different talent, different products, and I actually sat and learned. And you know what? You know what I learned? I learned that there's a lot of talented people out there that actually care about you. Now, at first I thought, you know, when I would hear the talk in the background, I'll give you an example, a guy named Brad Spencer. He's the sweetest guy in the world. I almost gag sometimes when I hear how nice he is. And yet the way he speaks about his clients and the way the others speak about their clients and how much they care, you know, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. And I just jumped in, and here I am. Now, with that being said, I am now 60, well, I was 57 at the time. I'm 61 years old. What am I going to do? I mean, am I going to go be a greeter at the Walmart? I'd rather not. Who's going to hire an old paralegal who's so far out of touch with the legal system that people who are up and coming will work for cheap? And especially in radio, even though I've got 40 years experience in radio, nobody's going to hire me anymore to go back on the air. And thanks to E. Brian Rose giving me the opportunity to do all of these webinars, which I've done over 400 of them, I got to meet people like Daniel Hall, who is experienced and who is taken care of. And I was taught a long time ago, you are who you eat with. So when I say that, I mean, if you want to hang out with people on the street, that's as far as you're going to go. If you want to hang out with millionaires, there's no potential with what you can accomplish. So here are a couple of guys that have done this, who are financially successful and are not doing this for the money, but they're doing it for the satisfaction of helping other people become successful. And folks, I'm saying that I'm behind this. For those of you who are my associates and on my list, I wouldn't throw myself out there and put the kiss on it if I didn't believe it. You know, am I in this for the money? Well, kind of, because, you know, I have rent. I paid rent yesterday. Am I wealthy? No. But believe me, when I see something that works, I want to share it with you, and that's what I've done. I've shared Daniel and John with you. I'm asking you to take advantage of this if you want to. If you don't want to, that's awesome. It's okay. It's not right for everybody. But for $97, to take a chance on a product that's going to benefit you no matter what for such a small investment with a guarantee, and if you put it on your credit card, it won't even hit your bill till 30 or 45 days from now. It's got to be an awesome opportunity. You know, I've missed a lot of opportunities in my life. I wished I could have grabbed for all of them, but I believe this is one opportunity that if you grab for, I know you won't be disappointed. And you know what? If it doesn't work, at least you tried. You can.
And the thing is, Rich, you know,
it works.
It works, but you know, Pinterest is all about sharing, and you know, Rich, you talked about sharing and the value of that, and to me, that's the road to wealth. That's what, and prosperity is sharing. You know, giving and giving more. And with Pinterest, it's all about sharing. It's all about liking the things you like and then, you know, repinning them. And that act of repinning and the act of pinning and sharing is what's going to draw a lot of traffic to what you're doing. And that's just so incredibly powerful. And it's a traffic. I mean, as Daniel said earlier, it's a traffic play. It really is all about traffic. And I was just looking at my stats just while you were talking, and I'm still, you know, even though I'm not doing much on infographicAday.com right now, I'm still getting 3,000 new people a week or more coming to my website, and almost all of that traffic is coming from Pinterest, even though my last pin was back in October. I mean, my last blog post. I mean, the traffic still just comes because of Pinterest and all the traffic it's generating. It just keeps sending people there. And that's really one of the secrets of Pinterest, again, is just how long-lasting it is, and again, the incredible targeted capability of Pinterest that goes way beyond anything in Twitter or LinkedIn or even Facebook.
Hey, Daniel, you know, we've been doing this now a little bit over 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I know a lot of everybody's tired, and I'm tired, and you're tired, but, you know, we can only say so much, and I think we can only give people the information they need to make the right decision, and I think you've done that. What do you say we wrap this up here in about 2 or 3 minutes, and let's take a minute if there's anybody out there with any questions. Daniel's asked you before if you're on the fence. If you don't have the information that you need to make the right decision, you can't make the right decision. And I believe this product would be the right decision. So you tell me, how can we share with you information that you need so you can take advantage of this now? And I'm not talking about just because it's $97, because it will go up in price. But to take advantage of this now, what can we do to help you make this decision and take advantage of this product now? Any questions before we wrap it up? Only got 2 minutes, so now's your time. I'm not seeing any questions, Daniel. You think we burned everybody out?
So I do. I have a question for those of you that are here and maybe on the fence, because let me see how many folks. Oh, we still have a big group still here. Okay, so although that actually might match the number of orders. I don't know. It's a big number of orders. But here, all right. So here's the deal. And here's what I want to ask you. Is there anyone out there that needs more time? And when I say more time, I'm talking about you've made the decision, you're going over to realfastpinterest.com/Rich right now, but you need more time, because I have instructed Rich to change out this price from $97 to $127 when the webinar ends. Okay, so it's not going to be available for $97 after this webinar. So anyone need additional time? And if so, I'll go silent. I'll set a timer here, and then you can go grab it. Let me see what we've got here. I'm not actually looking at the.
Daniel, some people are having trouble with the ordering system, and I sent them to greatproductsupport.com.
All right, so yeah, we've got several folks that are jumping on right now. So what I'm going to do is this. Actually, Rich is processing this through through JVZoo. So, Rich, where do folks go if they're having problems with their processing?
They go right to me. It's richwillens1@yahoo.com. If there's any issues at all, just come to me because I know it's working because the orders have been coming through. But if you are having that an issue now, let me know by going ahead and posting your issue in the question box and give me a phone number. Because if you do that, if you're having an issue now, and if you give me a phone number, Daniel, can we honor the $97 price if I call them?
Of course, yeah. I mean, people are doing it right now, in putting in their number and whatnot, and they're having a problem. Absolutely. I mean, you all. I'm not. If you're here and trying, I'm not going to certainly penalize that kind of behavior because that's the kind of behavior that leads to success.
Yes, and you know what? Like I said, it is working, but you know what? It's Murphy's Law. Dean, if you're having an issue, go ahead and put your phone number in. I will call you, and support will get a hold of you.
And for those of you that are grabbing it right now, I'm going to go ahead and set the timer and we'll set it for. I'll set it here for.
Got your number, Dean.
What do you think?
Call
5 minutes?
Yeah.
You think
Let's do it. Let's do it for 5 minutes. I'm going to take care of Dean right now. All right, Dean, no problem. I got you. I got your number right here. Let's see. I'm going to tell everybody it's 555-1212. I wouldn't do that to you, Dean. But look, folks.
And Rich, it looks like D Price is still having some trouble.
Okay, and if D Price, if you'll just go ahead and give me that phone number, I will personally process it for you. If there's anybody else, because we did go through JVZoo, and which we do appreciate it, and I belong to JVZoo, our support is 100% too. So there will not be an issue at all. And especially, I give you my word, and my word is my bond. Deborah, I have got your number right here. It looks like it's 555-1212. Oh, you got the same phone number. That's pretty awesome.
How about that? You all live in the same house?
Yeah, I think so. So that's good. Thank you, Deborah. Bob Joe, I don't know if you're having an issue and you'd like to purchase it or you can't or whatever. We will honor the price and I'll take care of it. So I've got Deborah, and I have Dean. So is there anybody else that has an issue? I won't publish these numbers, and I won't do anything other than call and help you. What's the timer set? Let me see, because I got the question box open. I see we got 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Good. Here's your opportunity. Whoever contacts me right now or gives me their number right now, once this webinar is over with, I will contact you and you will get that $97 price. And that will also include the one free VIP ticket to Marketing Mayhem in San Diego in March. Plus, everybody is going to be getting a copy of my ebook, Inside the Minds of Online Marketing Millionaires. So I'm the guy. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in the question box, which is richwillens1@yahoo.com. And that way, anybody who needs to get a hold of me can get a hold of me. We got one more question from Emo, and that's how I'm going to call you because I don't know how to pronounce the rest of your last name, Mr. Acapeti. Does this system work very well with work-at-home products?
John? And Rich, the thing is, it works with anything because you can, again, target to the boards, and there are boards and people interested in almost any subject. It obviously works really well with things that women like, and obviously there are a lot of women that work at home. So I see no reason why it would not work.
Okay.
Agreed.
Amor Jayway, that's what it is. It's a lovely name. I just didn't know how to pronounce it. Amor Jayway. Amor Jayway. There you go. Anyway, Amor Jayway, thank you for that question. Let's see. Steven says, I've got everything downloaded already. Thanks. I'm in. Got to go to bed. 3:17 in the UK. Yes, it is late. And by the way, I want to thank
you so
everybody
much for that.
Who's participated tonight. What did you say, Daniel? I didn't mean to step on you.
No. I was just thanking everyone, but particularly those folks that it's in the middle of the night who've stayed up for this. Although it is worth it. It was an excellent use of your time and your effort and your energy, and frankly your investment. Even if you stayed up 24 hours for this. I mean, that's not hyperbole. I know it sounds like hyperbole, but I really believe in this. It took me a while to kind of come around to this. It took meeting up with John 2, 3, 4 times. How many times did we actually get together before you finally took a 2x4 to my head and said, "You got to look at this, Daniel"? And I did, and I thought, oh my God, eureka moment.
It took me about a year to convince you.
Yeah, about a year, and once I get convinced, it's off to the races, because I know I can effectively communicate how just damn good this program is, when I myself believe in it, and I do, in the very core of my fiber, believe in it, and I because we do have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Even if you don't completely believe me, which you should, but I understand if you don't, you know you are protected. So the place to go to grab is realfastpinterest.com/rich. That number or that link is also in the chat. Your time is almost up, so I hope you grab it now. Rich, thank you. John, excellent job, and thanks to everyone watching.
Thanks, Rich.
You're very welcome. And by the way, Daniel and John, you're both my guests as well. If you make it to San Diego, it's a no-brainer for doing such a great job. John, awesome. You got it. You can be my VIP. And Daniel, you can be my VIP. And everybody you purchased tonight can be my VIP. And we're going to have an awesome time. How's that?
Wow, that's cool. I might just take
Well, I hope you do, because it'll be awesome, and you'll certainly enjoy it. Well, that's it, folks. It looks like the timer has gone off, and when it goes to 000, which means it is time to go and call it a night. I want to thank my guests tonight, John and Daniel, and what do you say we thank them as well? Let's put in a big thank you or a one just to acknowledge what a great job they did, and especially sticking it out for the past 2 hours and 21 minutes. Come on, it's not that hard. Type one or thank you. There you go. Jerry says thanks, and Olga, I'm sure you're going to say thank you. Oh, you just did. That's so awesome. And thank you all for coming by. It's always a privilege and a pleasure to entertain you all. Stephen, appreciate it. Jonathan, thank you for the kind words. Lynn, awesome as usual. Lynn is a big fan, by the way, Dan. I almost called you Dan. I know you. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Rich.
All right. Anyway, for those of you who are left, thank you so very much for being a part of Rich Wilens webinars, JV Zoo webinars, webinar swamps, and just hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. I so respect and appreciate you all. And now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. God, I just remembered that from 1956. I'm going to go just say too hip, too cool. Gotta go. So long, everybody. Glad it's time well spent, Olga. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on another edition of Rich Wilens Webinars. Good night, everybody.